Hey guys, uh, I'll be honest, I have not been feeling good for the past few days. Uh, I don't know why. I've just been having like coughing issues and everything, and all that. But I have taken some Nyquil and stuff, so hopefully I will be able to get to feeling better pretty soon. But anyways, enough with me talking about being sick. Greetings, creatures and humans alike. I am MagiQDog, and tonight we shall be talking about scribble, 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 scribble. We shall be talking about the Manticore, or there, Manticore. Yeah. Anyways, let me put my wings out of the way and let's get started. So, wait, there we go. Let me bring up my notes. Okay, here we go. The Manticore is a fierce predatory creature told in Persian, Greek, and medieval bestiaries. Let's see. Appearance. The Manticore is a lion type of creature with the body of a lion, but they have a head of a man with a wide mouth full of 3 rows of razor sharp teeth. The human head always got a fierce and intimidating appearance, with male ones often sporting a beard. They also said to have a tail that's either that of a scorpion or a flexible tail with venomous spikes attached at the end. They also come mainly in red or reddish colors, but can also appear in other colors as well. There are also a kind of manticores that got draconic like wings on their back, which allows them to hunt in the air. However, the common manticores often don't have wings. Role in mythology. Manticores are first told in Persian mythology and documented among Greek historians and authors, like the famous Billy the Elder. In the myths and legends, manticores are told as dangerous predators that primarily target humans for food. They do eat other prey like pigs, mountain goats, and other prey items, but they develop the taste of human flesh to the point of it being their main source of food. In fact, their name actually means man eater. They are said to reside in different kinds of environments, ranging from deserts of the Middle East to forests and jungles of India to even mountainsides of Europe. They would leave their cavern homes, which they could make by digging into the earth, to lurk near places where humans often travel to, whether it be roads, hiking paths, or on the outskirts of villages. From there, they will ambush attack on their prey. They will use their human voice mimicry to lure in human prey, often using distraught voices calling for help. Once the human gets close enough, they will either attack with their powerful jaws and sharp claws, or use a poisonous quills that will shoot out of their tail. Once their prey is paralyzed or dead, the manticore will swallow the human prey whole, leaving nothing behind, not even bones. The manticore will then return to their homes before restarting the hunt whenever they get hungry. So the manticores are basically vicious man-eaters that all should be wary of. Similar feline predators. The manticores are famous creatures of it being a lion-based animal, except for the whole human head and stinger tail. After all, lions themselves are considered famous animals who are considered king of the animal kingdom. However, manticores aren't the lone lion-based animals that are also seen to hunt down or scare humans. Other myths and legends have similar creatures to the manticores. The first are flying lions. That's right. In European medieval mythology, there are stories of winged lions and other big cats. Now, these creatures are mainly shown in arts and emblems across Ethiopia and other cultures, which, of course, main ones being Europe. But, you know, there's that. Sorry, like I said, I'm still sick. Sorry. Anyways, next is the Chimera of Greek mythology. This famous beast is a fire-breathing lion with a goat head on its back and having a serpent for a tail. This beast caused destruction and death until the hero Bellerophon, riding on Pegasus, slayed it. Another Greek beast is a Nemean Lion. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, mispronunciation issues. Anyways, uh, this lion-based creature is. Oh my goodness, I lost track. Take two. Beep. A large lion-based creature with a near indestructible hide that all weapons cannot pierce. Only Hercules was able to slay this beast. Griffins from Greek mythology are also added to this list, since they are fierce lion based creatures that have often attacked humans as well. Horrors of medieval times are dangerous spotted big cats that'll chase you down with super speed. And finally, another creature that actually looks similar to the Manticore is a Su, or Sucarrath. Said to live in Patagonia, they are Manticore like creatures with a body of a lion and a face of a man. The only major difference between the two is that the Su's tails are large, round, and heavy like a club, and they have narrow, skinny bodies. So yeah, there are plenty of lion or big cat mythical creatures that'll devour you no problem. Powers. The Manticore is considered a fierce and powerful predator. This is due to not just hunting and intimidating nature, but also due to its arsenal of skills it uses to hunt down human prey. The first power is the fact of its lion-based physical abilities. This includes the lion's sense, strength, speed, enhances, um, enhances. Oh, sorry. Anyways, stamina, speed, strength, night vision, durability, flexibility, stealth, and more. Yeah, I butchered that big time. Anyways, they also have the lion's natural claws that it can use to hold on to its prey in a war that will freeze a frightful person in place. They also have an unnatural 3 rows of sharp teeth attached to their right human mouth. And speaking of which, their second power is a human speech mimicry. Due to the human head, they can perfectly mimic human voices of sounding like people in distress. They can even mimic loved ones' voices to make human prey more distraught to see what's happening, playing into a person's psyche. Thirdly, they have a poisonous or deadly quills on their tail. These quills are coated with toxins that can instantly kill or paralyze a fully grown man and other prey. These quills can also be fired off from the tail with enough force to travel 100 feet in a few seconds in any direction that they wish, which is due to their flexible tails and having great accuracy and stuff. Boy, I cannot stick to the script that I wrote down. Anyways, now, the tails that are more scorpion like are just as deadly as they are coated with venom as well. Now, fourth, they seem to have a super mouth and stomach that can swallow and digest a whole human without leaving any traces behind, which in turn would not alarm humans. This could allow the Manticore to attack multiple times in the same area before suspicions arise. And finally, some Manticores are capable of flight thanks to their draconic wings. These powers make the Manticore a truly nightmarish predator. Weaknesses. But have no fear, humans, for there are weaknesses to this dreaded beast that you can use to protect yourself against it. The main weakness is that it's weak to elephants. Yep, you heard that right. Strangely enough, elephants are a great counter against manticores, because they are the only animal that is immune to the manticore's poisonous spikes on its tail. Manticores also cannot take down an elephant despite their strength and power. So riding on an elephant and attacking them from high above will give you a great advantage. Another weakness, although very risky, is crushing their tails whenever they are a cub. A baby manticore who got their tail crushed will not be able to produce poisonous quills, and as such will grow up with a useless tail and be easier to deal with. Now, although not a typical weakness, fire and armed weapons will still be useful against a manticore. A manticore is considered a wild beast, and as such can be killed. So using fire, which any animal is afraid of, and using heavy weaponry like rifles and shotguns should allow you to harm or kill a manticore. So yeah, if you got a pet elephant and know where to hurt baby manticores, you got this. By the way, please don't do that. Anyways, regular versus winged. Now, you humans probably know of two different kinds of manticore. You got the regular manticores, who are the land man-eating beasts of the jungles. Then you got the winged manticores. They are the ones with draconic wings on their back, which allows them to fly and attack. Which, now that I realize, might hinder the whole riding on the elephant weakness strategy. But anyways, the winged manticores have become the more famous of the two. After all, those that can fly would surely be more terrifying and dangerous to people than those who ambush from bushes or hide in hidden terrain. However, winged manticores are often told in more modern settings, like in the D&D games, movies with manticores, and so on. So you're probably thinking that I'm going to say something along the lines of how winged manticores don't really exist in myths and legends. However, you will be both right and wrong to an extent. Let me explain this. It is true that regular manticores without wings are traditionally told in Persian and Greek mythologies and legends. However, winged manticores aren't created there in the modern era either. Winged manticores got their first appearance in medieval Europe. Like how Hydra got some changes during medieval times, so has the Manticore, where stories and visual arts have added wings to the Manticore, giving them a more supernatural menacing status, and used for symbolism to symbolize tyranny, evil, and so on, which makes them more demonic and related to sins. One of the best examples of a winged Manticore of the medieval times was used within the famous story The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, where he told of Geryon, a Greek three-bodied giant, which in this story, he appears as a winged manticore-like creature that guided both him and Virgil down to the eighth circle. Now, I'm going to say, however, that while winged manticores were developed in medieval times, they really weren't as popular compared to the regular manticores. They only seem to got their popularity during the modern era thanks to games like D&D. Medieval times. But we're still going to continue to talk about medieval manticores since manticores were heavily used and talked about during this era. Manticores gained popularity within medieval era, often told in many stories or shown in visual arts and used as symbols. They are even documented as real animals within the medieval bestiaries, alongside elephants and other animals and mythical creatures. In fact, the most stories of the manticores are told in these bestiaries, including the Rochester Bestiary, which captures a manticore in stunning illustration. Manticores are also told in classical or medieval literature, like the Divine Comedy, to entertain and warn people about the dangers these creatures pose. Even in heraldry, they are often used in the coat of arms to represent families and hold symbolized meanings, with the common ones portraying tyranny, evil, sins, and so on. Many nobles and royals use the manticores in their coat of arms to represent them. Which, funny enough, these guys that I'm about to mention were also criminals that were executed due to plots of treachery. Of these, the famous people includes William Hastings, Anthony Babyton, and Baron Fitzwater. Like I said, pronunciation issues, so my bad. Anyways, to wrap this up, manticores became popular in medieval times. And speaking of which, popularity. It is thanks to medieval times, Greek and Persian stories that pushed the manticore to the modern era, where media like D&D made a manticore one of the more popular creatures and iconic mythical creatures around. They appear in movies, cartoons, animes, books, and of course games. So many games. Anyways, with movies, the Sci-Fi Channel's 2005 movie Manticore had a winged one that terrorized the U.S. soldiers in the Iraq town. Percy fought against a manticore creature in Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. And the character Cory the Manticore is a... Wait, why did I have that typed down? Oh my goodness gracious. Anyways, he was the owner of a tavern turned family restaurant in Disney's Onward. For TV series, Charms got manticores as vicious demons with venomous tails and claws and travels in packs. Power Rangers Mystic Force got the manticore Megazord that appears like a manticore. And the Grims also got a manticore who are half lion, half scorpions, reasons. I never seen the show, so don't hold it against me if I didn't pronounce it right. Anyways, for cartoons, you got Adventure Time. Come on, grab your friends. Okay, for real though. Adventure Time, where you got the tiny manticore that Finn saved. My Little Pony's Friendship is Magic. My Little Pony. Anyways, they got manticores as wild beasts. Curse have a manticore as a major villain. And the misadventures of Flapjack have Flapjack and Knuckles saved by a manticore. With anime and manga, One Piece used manticores as wild beasts and impaled down. Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic, got manticores as a race, although they don't really appear like typical manticores. I'll let y'all look that up and stuff, because I could try to describe them, but we gotta move on. Isekai Shokudo had Lino, a lion-headed gladiator who fought and defeated a Manticore in episode 5. And Soul Eater's got a Manticore-like beast summoned by Noah in the manga. With games, you got the classic D&D that actually helped push the Manticore to the modern era. You also got card games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and so on. Video games also got plenty of Manticores, from Age of Mythology with them as units of Apollo, Ark Survival Evolved as a boss, Manticore Mon of Digimon, God of War Ascensions that's got one as a mini boss, Hero of Sparta 2 with one as a first boss, Monster Hunter with beasts like Teostra and Lunastra that are Manticore-like, Titan Quest Manticore Super Boss, Total War Warhammer Manticores that live in Chaos Waste, and so on. With books, you have mythical books that talk about the Manticore, like the Book of Imaginary Beings by George Louis Borges, the Illustrated Guide to Mythical Creatures by David Ress and Anta Garrity. You know, mispronunciations and stuff, so my bad. And the Mythical Creature Bible by Brenda Rawson. Dragopedia, the Bestiaries by William O. Carter, is a fake bestiary that are often told of Manticores as tiger-like instead of lion-like. D&D books also told of Manticores like a documented species. The Spirit Chronicles by Holly Black and Tony Tesorisi told of Manticore as panther-like beast with monkey face. The Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Again, mispronunciations. Anyways, his books features Mr. Dorn as a Manticore that could take human shape. Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rudell got Manticores living in an archipelago that hunt for spores instead of needing to feed. And the Uberto ECO Baldolino got the Manticores and other creatures that came to the heroes while they searched for Prester Sean's kingdom. They even use the name of a certain beetle species that are called the Manticora or Manticore beetles, which funny enough have their own myths and legends as well. And last but not least, we finally got the conclusion. So to wrap this whole thing up, the Manticore is a beast of terror that represents humanity's fear of becoming prey. This beast from the ancient past stalked the human realm to devour any that crosses its path. With its human sound mimicry to deadly and venomous arsenals, it has the tools to hunt down its victims and withstand time as it evolved from being an ancient predator to use in medieval bestiaries to being flying beasts shown in games and TV. So if you wandered the wilderness of India and heard a cry of a human in distress, trust your gut instinct that tells you to run, or you might become the next victim of a hungry manticore. And with that, that concludes the Manticore. So, what do you guys think of these fierce predators? Do you really think they're that bloodthirsty for humans? Do you think that the regular ones are cooler than the flying ones? Would you like to see them in D&D and other games? Let me know in the comments section whenever I load this up on YouTube. And that pretty much concludes our Creature of the Week. Now, normally I will talk about the next creature of the... Wait, no. Take two. Normally, I will kind of give you a hint about the next Creature of the Week. However, I actually got something planned for Halloween. So, on my next Creature of the Week, I'm actually going to be doing a versus deathmatch. This is going to be where I talk about two creatures that are similar to one another, kind of talk about like what they are, what their powers, their weaknesses, and so on, and kind of give a possible rundown of how their fights are going to be played out and who might be the theoretical winner. And the first one that's going to be up on this roster will be the native mythology creature of winter, the Wendigo, and the shape-shifting menace of Navajo myths, the Skinwalker. So if you guys are excited for this one, come back here next Friday and see how this matchup is going to do. But for now, I'm going to have to end this because after all, I am getting tired thanks to the NyQuil and I'm wanting to go to sleep. So with all that out of the way, thank you guys for coming on this fantastic Creature of the Week stream. I hope you had as much fun as I did. We got to learn about the Manticore and their man-eating, ambushing ways. And if you wish to learn more about these creatures, check me out on my Twitch page. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on my main YouTube channel and my Game and React channel. And leave a like and subscribe for that as more. And with that, I bid the show adieu. So see you guys. So long. Bye bye. Okay, bye. Sorry.